Good afternoon, and welcome to Lunch Break with the Rabbi. Today is Thursday, right before Shabbat. It is Thursday, March 4th, the 20th of Adar, and I welcome you today to another session of Lunch Break with the Rabbi. I hope you're all doing well. And just a quick reminder, as Passover is coming closer, our Passover website is up. You can now order matzah, sell your chametz, reserve for a Seder, or whatever else your Passover needs may be. And please let us know if there's anything we can help you with your Passover needs as Passover is coming and approaching. As we are talking, as we mentioned, for the past few days about this week's Torah reading, so let me share with you a true story about what happened in Israel, about a certain interesting court case. There was once this fellow who brought a court case was suing a wedding hall in Israel. Because what happened was, by the wedding under the chuppah, as you know, it is the custom that we break a glass, and the groom's family, nor the bride's family, nor the rabbi brought a glass for the groom to break. So they asked the wedding hall for a glass, and he gave them a very thick glass, which ended up cutting the groom's leg. He wasn't able to dance by the wedding properly, and because of that, he decided that he's going to sue the wedding hall, and eventually he was awarded about 35,000 shekel for it, while the wedding hall claimed it was the responsibility, the family claimed it was the hall's responsibility, and the judge awarded them 35,000 shekel. Well, what's going on over here? Why is it that by the most important and special part of a child's life, that they come to their wedding, the bride and groom are standing together right after the wedding ceremony, and how does the wedding ceremony end? They put a glass underneath the groom's leg. The groom gives a smash, and everybody shouts Mazal Tov, and that's the conclusion of the wedding ceremony. And from there, they go dance to the reception. What's this breaking of the glass, and everybody shouts Mazal Tov? Well, the traditional answer that's given is because at every time that we have a celebratory occasion, we should remember the destruction of the Holy Temple, and therefore we break a glass to remember it, to give us a reason not to be that excited. There's always a reason to be sorry and sad for some event that happened many years ago. Well, you can sing a song and talk about the destruction of the temple. You can say a story about the destruction of the temple, but why the need to break a glass? Is there no other way to remember the destruction of the temple? Is there no other way to remember what happened? And even more so, why at that time would you yell Mazal Tov? Do it in the beginning so you remember the destruction. But right at the breaking of the glass, do you yell Mazal Tov? What is the relationship and what are the connections? Which brings us back to our story that we've been discussing for the past few days, which is about Moses breaking the set of tablets when he comes down the mountain. He sees the Jewish people doing a cardinal sin of serving the golden calf, and therefore takes the tablets that he has in his hand, throws them to the ground, and smashes them. Why did Moses have to break the tablets? And we went on to give different interpretations. But the bottom line, the question is that we talk about is, Moses saw the people doing something wrong. He believed that by him breaking the tablets, this will sever the relationship, so to speak, and therefore won't be considered as an adulterous relationship or whatever it may be. But why break them? Why couldn't Moses take the tablets, put them away in a closet, when the time comes the Jewish people behave and give it back to them? Why do this great act of smashing them to the floor that the Jewish people should recognize what they've done wrong? Wouldn't it be just enough to reprimand them, put it aside? It's like, take an example. You buy your child this unbelievable expensive gift. And as you walk into the door, you hear him being reprimanded because he misbehaved in school and got suspension. You don't want to give him the present, do you? So what would you do? Break the present? Or you put it away until the time that he behaves? What's the need to breaking it? And here's a story, a fascinating story from the Talmud about the great sage and legend, Rabbi Akiva. The Rabbi Akiva, who with 24,000 students, only started studying Torah when he was 40 years old. When he was 40 years old, he then began to study the two teachings of the Torah. He barely knew how to read the alphabet, to read Hebrew. He was a convert, and he learned, and he studied. And eventually, while he was studying, and while he was still in his early stages of studying, Rabbi Akiva was walking on the road, and he sees a person who just recently passed away with nobody there to tend to their body, to give them a proper burial. Rabbi Akiva, knowing that it's a big mitzvah to take care of a person and bury a person, especially when there's nobody else to tend to them, picked up the body, carried him to the next beautiful cemetery, and gave the person a nice burial and an honorable burial. When he came into the yeshiva hall and he told the rabbis of what he's done, the rabbis all of a sudden began to reprimand him of his ignorance. Because according to Jewish law, one should not take a body that one finds in the middle of the street and find them and schlep them to a burial place, bury them right there because it's not nice and it's disrespectful for the body. And he was reprimanded, what kind of ignorance, and so on and so forth. Years later, when Rabbi Akiva became this great leader of 24,000 students, one of the students reminded him about the mistake that he made. And Rabbi Akiva tells him, and Rabbi Akiva said, remember that mistake? That mistake wasn't just a mistake. In fact, that mistake was the beginning of my career. That mistake was my greatest merit. Rabbi Akiva said, when I walked into the study hall, if everybody would have complimented me, I would have said, wow, great, I'm wonderful. But when I realized they made a mistake, I realized I have so much more to learn. I realized I have so much more to study and to learn and to grow. That gave me the impetus, the energy, the excitement that now I can learn more. And I will learn more because the more I learn, the more I need to know. Now we can better understand what Moses was doing. Moses saw the Jewish people. The first time they received the Ten Commandments, God showered them with blessings, told them everything they needed. They were on high. But did it last? Not even 40 days. It didn't come from within. It didn't change them. It didn't move them. It moved them, yes, but not enough to penetrate, to permeate, to change them enough that they shouldn't make the mistake. But once they made a mistake, he realized now's the opportunity to show them the severity of the mistake. That he broke the tablets, teaching them that only because something is broken does it have the opportunity for growth, to come something new. Here's an interesting thing. In Hebrew, many words have many different interpretations. One word can mean many different things. So, for example, the word in Hebrew, lishbor, shover, mashber, means literally to break. But it also has another interpretation. When a woman is sitting and about to give birth in labor pains, she sits on a mashber, which means a chair for labor pains. Labor pain in Hebrew is called shvirot, lishbor. Over here, what do we see? That when it comes to breaking something is the ideal, is the method of birth. The waters needs to break. The womb needs to break so a new child can come into this world. The same idea we can now understand very clearly. Why by a chuppah? Why by a wedding ceremony? Our first question that we asked, do we break a glass? And everybody shouts Mazal Tov. Because over here we're reminding the new couple. The new couple, we're telling them, you know how you're going to bring new life, new energy, new vitality. How are you going to make a Mazal Tov? Congratulations. By making a mistake, you are then able to bring new life into this world. Only by breaking can we come to new birth, to new ideals, and reach new heights. I want to share with you a very moving story I recently read about a fellow who was once, he was a fundraiser, and he went to Italy to fundraise some money, and he walks into this beautiful mansion, very well-off Jewish individual, philanthropist. And while he's sitting and having a meeting with the fellow, he sees the break front in the glass china cabinet. He sees a bottle, and in the bottle, broken pieces of glass. And he's wondering in amazement, why broken pieces of glass? And the philanthropist sees the rabbi sitting in amazement, and he says, you're probably wondering what that's all about. He says, yeah. He says, let me share with you a story. My family grew up in Poland, and Hasidic family, actually he said in Holland, in Holland had a Hasidic family, and we had that education, the Hasidic education. My grandfather lived in Italy, had a wonderful, successful business, And he asked of us to move to Italy to take over the family business. And we did. My father moved to Italy, and I did, and I joined all the family business. And as we moved to Italy, we slowly assimilated within the community. And that same education that I got in Holland slowly drifted away. That ideals of Judaism, traditionalism, slowly drifted. And eventually I got married. And I also married a woman who Judaism wasn't of a great principle and wasn't of great ideals. And as we both slowly drifted somewhat from Judaism. One day I'm walking back from work and I see a group of children and I see a child with a yarmulke and he's crying. What am I going to tell Dad? What am I going to tell my father? So I approached the young child and I said, what's the matter? And he said, I have a bottle of olive oil I went to buy for my father for the menorah, and I just dropped it. And it's broken. What am I going to tell my father? We need the oil for the menorah. I looked at the boy, took out some money from my pocket. I told him, here, don't worry. Go buy some new olive oil for your menorah. But as I walked away, I said, wow. Tradition. I started remembering and asking myself, what am I going to tell my father the way I was educated? And now I've drifted away from it all. I stopped putting on tefillin. I stopped going to shul. What am I going to tell my father? And I immediately went to the store myself and bought a bottle of olive oil to light the menorah. But then, on my way home, I reminded myself of something. I went back to the place where that broken glass was there, gathered it together, put it in a jug, and put it in my break front, in my china cabinet, to remind me. The broken glass, to always remind me, what will I tell my Father in heaven? How am I behaving? What am I doing? And what are my reactions in life? It is the broken glass that inspired me to be today who I am, the philanthropist and the religious Jew that I am. Moses was teaching this to us 3,000 years ago. As he broke the tablets, he told us, it is the broken pieces in life, it is the mistakes in life that make us grow and give us room for rebirth. It is the great things in life that come only because we have shattered times in our life. And this is the message that a chassan and kala, a bride and groom, under their chuppah, right when they close the ceremony, right when they're about to emerge as new husband and wife, we tell them, you're going to have ups and downs in life, but don't allow the downs to determine, or the ups to determine. In fact, the downs will bring the ups. The broken parts will make you closer together. The mistakes will bond you. They are the room for the rebirth, for the Mazal Tov. The lesson for us is clear. We live in today in a tumultuous time where there are many ups and downs, and it seems like it's a mashber, it's a closed, it's a tight, it's a broken time. But it is also a time for rebirth. It gives us now the opportunity to look for new avenues and new areas to grow in life that we've never had the opportunities before. It's the one question that we are being asked every single day. And are we answering our Father? What will our Father say? Did you use the mistake and learn from it and grow from it and rebirth from it? Or you just stayed stuck, getting scratched and bruised by the broken glass? Let us all pick up the pieces, grow from it together, become stronger as one, and have a rebirth to an absolute new vitality and energy in serving God and becoming better people. Wishing you a good Shabbos, a wonderful day, and a great week ahead. Looking forward to speaking with you again on Monday at Lunch Break with the Rabbi at 1 p.m.